are experiencing of a president know what is happening in the corridors of Villa. He's not in old age. So let's find the youth for now. When the other gender, that's ladies, let's try, let's zone the ladies that are the one we try. We need to age. We don't need to be thinking based on origin. We of that. Let me set example whom we are copying of democracy. Barack Obama happens to be African. And African, he is from Kenya. Some people had it Obama was in Kenya, he contested for president, he might not be able to win because of the region he however contested in America, one of the most developed world, and he won. You see, in business, and we are too democratic. We shouldn't be analysis or expectations. Other most countries hardly hear of anything or ethnic or there is not because the station based on so thinking from this angle and even need to zone the president shouldn't be thinking of zone doesn't matter. If someone is cut from the southeast across a person, is it that if is capable from he cannot be trusted by the why is it that the northerners are afraid of northerners? Is all sort of by the elite. It is just a elite. Now the citizens is leading the country. Is the not far better off? Many southerners will be proud side in the north. I think you of the deteriorate standard of living on daily basis are displayed major highway we have Abuja to Kana. We need to start this. I am not tribe. I am not against, but we outside the box.
Comrade.
Meet ourselves to the east.
Comrade,
like we are just. I'm with you.
I'm so sorry to interject here, but I want to be sure if it's just me or if your line is actually breaking, because we're not hearing you so clearly. Your line keeps breaking. So if it's your line that is breaking, I want you to change your audio.
Okay.
So I want to be sure. Mr. Dagyat, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so were you following him or was his line breaking up?
It was breaking, but I'm still getting the synopsis of what he's talking about.
Okay, fine. I think he can go ahead then. Comrade, please carry on.
Okay. I think it's the net in my state still experiencing network. The fact that today released by the governor properly for the release of the but I hope you can get
Yes, we're getting your point, but it kept breaking up, so I just wanted to be sure.
I don't know if to change the device
No, please go ahead. Go
have.
ahead. You were saying something really, really good. So please go ahead.
But in case it is a device, I can change it. Alert me on that. So as now we have 6 geopolitical in Nigeria. We have the southwest, southeast, northeast, and north. 6 geopolitical. If truly those people, if they are truly agitating for, we know that there are some ever tests as far as the federation out the northeast, the north, the of any had before. So I think had won. So deliberating on those, even if morning, but that is not I'm heading toward. You that are driving are doing it sentiment, that sentiment taking us anywhere, lead us to which will progress and the Nigeria as a whole. Nigeria is the giant. We need to lead simple. Saying this because I am, but we need to lead. We need by how do we lead by? Is credible leaders, leaders and transparent. Only base our eyes on leaders that are. But whenever we start deviating, simple norm, we are headed somewhere else. Will cry large.
All right, let us hear from
even if you are, let's assume some may still be clamoring they are being neglected. Southeast.
Comrade.
You take it too. Hello? Yeah, I'm with you.
Please try to conclude. Let us go listen to the other guests.
Okay, so conclusion. We should base on credibility.
Thank you.
Accountability, not biases, differences.
All right, thank you. I saw from the chat box that your audio was really not good. So let me just try to summarize what you said. Comrade here was of the opinion that, or is of the opinion rather, that the presidency should not be zoned. Rather, we should promote accountability, credibility, and candidates with these virtues from any zone can and should be allowed to contest rather than zoning. And I think that summarizes what he was saying, although he said it in more elaborate ways. Let us go to our second guest, Mr. Dagyat.
Okay, thank you, Augusta. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Okay, from the topic, when you talk about rotate implies that object or the thought line, the implication is that object have distinct sides. Therefore, you need to rotate so that the other sides too can be within a particular direction or dimension. So there is distinct side. That is the reason for rotation in the real sense of the word. Nigeria, by design, is simply a product of a third-party amalgamation. It was not like it is, we are one set of people that choose to just live together. It is a product of amalgamation. Therefore, this amalgamation is for the North and the Southern Protectorate by the British. From just the foundational creation of Nigeria, there are two distinct sites. So if you have two distinct sites, the question will now be, how do you govern? Governance in its own, to put it in a simplistic term, is the instrument to address welfare and security. To offer welfare to a set of people, you will need to understand their felt needs so that the beneficiaries will appreciate that their welfare have been enhanced. In the case of Nigeria, the Northern Protectorate has an existing feudal system, whereas the Southern Protectorate worked on a collaborative management system. Therefore, instituting a functional government, a governmental system, you cannot be able to govern this set of people in the same perspective. So I want to put it to you that from the foundation of this country, there exist two distinct sites. More so, even within the distinct sites, you will find out that in the North Protectorate, there are clearly a divide between the Hausa Fulani Muslims and the smaller indigenous Christian communities. So equally, you will need to put that into the equation of governance. In the South itself, the Igbo Bendel area, and then you have the Yoruba area, you have to put that into perspective. Therefore, if we understand that clearly, that there are distinct narration of how we are together as a country, then you will need to create balance. You will need to ensure equity, fairness, and you will only do that better if you rotate the governance or the power system such that every element will be able to create an input into the system. That is why the founding constitution of this country in the 1960s created room for the type of governance where those distinct areas have serious monopoly in their governance system because they are unique, they are different. Now, if we follow on that particular course, today we are operating a 1999 constitution as amended that did not put into its equation those distinct divides. Therefore, you will need to come up with a system such that you will need to rotate and give everybody a sense of belonging into the system. Because the constitution we are operating do not provide explicitly rotation in the context of the word or in the text therein, you now leave room for unwritten terms and engagement and conditions where the political actors now come to play in defining how the governance system will look like, bearing in mind that we are distinct. Therefore, for you to have a successful nation as complex as Nigeria, there needs to be an alliance formed among the various clearly distinct nationalities, areas, ethnicity, religious divides. Clearly, you cannot run away from that. Because of our distinctness, alliances are formed by calculative designs to wrestle power and keep. And the way the 1999 Constitution is so designed, it is almost in a context where the winner takes all. Because of that, permutations are built and debate are done to enshrine rotation, you have it in mind that your turn will come. Why will I be in a system when I cannot be part of or at the head of the governance system? It's not practicable. So you need to give hope to everybody that his turn will surely come. And that is why you have these very critical permutations that are being built and debates among the political actors to ensure that everybody feels belong and then the system works.
All right, still on you, Mr. Dagyat. It's common knowledge that power is not served but taken, and the Southeast region is at the forefront of the agitations for zoning the presidency. However, do you think that you're ready to do what it takes to take power and keep it?
Let me support that notion. Truly, power is taken, is not given. And if you look at the history of Nigeria, right from the First Republic, you will find out that power in Nigeria is based on alliances. Zik had an alliance with the Sardonas, and therefore you have a balance for the First Republic. When the coup came up, the coup was seen to be people from the predominantly Igbo-dominated area, which means the South. Therefore, there was a counter coup. That tells you that where the power is matters. So for somebody to come and tell you that no, it's not critical in Nigeria, it doesn't work. Otherwise, if you look at the counter coup, it was because the people, not because the system or the reason for the coup, that was not the point. It was because the coup plotters are from a particular area. Now, if you follow that history and you look at the way powers rotate in this country, only Shonikon was given power at the platter of gold. Now, he was given that power by the North. And the reason for giving the power was because a Southerner in a passive, free and fair election got this election. So therefore, let's appease them, give them this power. But there was a virus. The man who is supposed to retire with the existing president was left behind. And Sani Abacha now did the needful to return back power to the region that they felt this power should be. So for somebody to now say that power rotation is not a critical element in the Nigerian history, then we are joking. The only problem we have here is which region should this power be given? If you look at the history of the power from 1999 to date, you will find out that it was just an alliance that exists predominantly. In 1999, Olusegun Obasanjo contested with Alex Ikweme, Don Itiebed, Graham Douglas, Jim Nwobodo. You find out that the North, the Middle Belt, and the Southwest aligned, and Obasanjo got that election here in Jos at a platter. When Obasanjo decided to recontest again, there was no zoning because Ikweme contested, Rimi contested, Gemade contested. But because the North, the Middle Belt, and the Southwest still aligned, Obasanjo got his second tenure. But because this power is not something you give, Obasanjo wanted a third term. So for somebody to say power is not to be struggled for, and anyone that has it wants to keep it. That is why the North will always fight to keep it. But this opportunity came, it was scuttled. What happened thereafter? Yaradua came on board, but even the Yaradua himself, he didn't contest, he contested with Okorocha. So the quest for this power is an ongoing thing, and by the time Goodluck inherited the government of Yaradua, when it was time for him to contest, there was equally an alliance that has to take place. Because at that point, the minorities felt that they equally will want to support a minority to be president that will ensure that another minority from the northern part of Nigeria too can be president. So the alliance, the middle belt, worked along with the southeast and the south-south. That alliance took place, and he got his election. Go and look at this whole thing. So what I'm trying to say here is that, like Abiola unrest made Obasanjo become president, so was Masop that made Goodluck to be considered as vice in order to appease that zone, and he became president. And then that was an argument during his campaign because of that particular unrest. Boko Haram is the basis for Buhari to be president. So if IPOB today are agitating, that should be a basis equally for us to consider an Igbo presidency. So for somebody to now say, because of XYZ, it will not happen, it doesn't make sense to me. Obasanjo worked for his second term. Goodluck worked for his. Buhari worked to be president over years and years of contest. Atiku is working to be president over years and years of contest. Are the Southeast prepared? Do they have the quest to be president? Yes, they do. But you find out that if you look at the South as a region, you will see people like the Goodlucks, the Osibanjo, and the Tinubus fighting forcefully to get this power coming to them. Is that the same story you get from the Southeast? All the serious Southern aspirants, if you look at them, the Igbo bloc is not coming on board the way it should come. But I believe that for us to be fair, the Igbos should be given the opportunity, and that is what we stand for. That is what we believe, because equity, the balance of power, needs to be enshrined so that every bloc that makes this country should get this power. So the point here is this, like you just rightly said, and it's very clear, and that is, even the Christian religion is hinged on that. In Matthew 11, chapter 12, the apostle recorded the word of Jesus directly from Jesus, it's not from any other person. And Jesus said, the kingdom of God suffers violence, and violence taketh it by force. We cannot pretend and put governance outside religion and claim that will not happen. This East must wake up, and we are agitating that they should wake up. We should support them. For somebody to say that power should not rotate, or we should look for the best. Who said there is no best in the East? Look at the technocrats that are able to transform this country. From the Soludu and all the people that check out, are they not Igbos? So just like we found Obasanjo to take in order to appease the West, why don't we go to the East and find somebody to appease the West? Atiku contested for governor. Let me just make this round up here. Atiku contested for governor. He won his election, but because of exigencies, he was brought in to be the vice president. So if Soludu won his governorship and we feel he has capacity, we can go and bring him and make him president. So I don't want the story to be on the ground that capacity. Yes, there's capacity everywhere. That is our position.
All right, thank you. We'll still come back to x-ray this statement and the sentiment behind giving the presidency to appease some form of insecurity. We'll talk about that later, but let us go to Comrade. Comrade, you heard the submission and you heard the question. What are your thoughts? Comrade, are you there? You're muted.
Yes, I've just unmuted myself. Pamson Dagyat had said so much, and I really appreciate his point. Hope you can hear me now clearly.
Very clear.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. He made mention of Nigerian Constitution, which was drafted in a misleading manner. I just rephrased his statement. What I would like to bring to his notice that the head of the committee that drafted that constitution was Ben Nwabwezi, an Igbo man for that matter. He drafted the unitary constitution which Ironsi used to bring Nigeria under federating unit, under federation, which we are currently using. So are you indirectly telling us now that Ben Nwabwezi doesn't like his people, or he does that perfectly to favor the Northerners? Sometimes, I deliberately refuse to be political. I just want us to discuss based on fact. But it seems like our discussion is changing narrative. Now, this is a question I want you to answer me on the issue of the constitutional draft. Was it deliberate that Ben Nwabwezi headed that committee just to favor Northerners, and Ironsi comes on board and reaffirmed that constitution through making it a federal constitution, a federation, making Nigeria a federation? Now, he also made a point that Buhari becomes the president on the basis of Boko Haram. I would like you to know, I would like to make it clear here that I am not a member of Buhari's party, and I am not supporting Buhari in any way. But I want us to establish the fact so that we will not be misleading the audience. Buhari contested in 2003. Was there Boko Haram at that time? He contested also in 2007, I think. Was there Boko Haram at that time? Boko Haram became rampant during the administration of Adwa. So we need to be clear on this. When he was campaigning before, was he campaigning on the basis of Boko Haram? He wasn't. This is clear. And now we said, you can love others, but to love yourself is the best of love. Why are the middle belters, the so-called middle belters, agitating for a presidency of the Northeast? Have they ever produced a president in the past? Why are they not agitating a presidency of their own? You sense a hypocrisy there. I'm sorry to use this word. But whatever it is politics, it is pure political. Going back to what politics is a pure game of number. You cannot coerce anybody to vote for you or to zone the ticket to any zone. You can express your opinion. You have the guts to vote whomever you want to vote, but there is no compulsion in voting. I myself, if I have the will or the capacity, I can contest for the presidency of Nigeria. It doesn't mean I would like to see a situation whereby myself, I will be supporting Pamson Dagyat as a contestant, an aspirant for the presidency of Nigeria, and I will not be feeling biases or I will not be sentimental in myself. This is what we should be preaching for. He made mention of Charles Soludo. There are some very, very important technocrats in the Southeast. So why not we should be campaigning for these people based on what they can offer? Why should we be basing our argument based on region? If someone is good, he is good. What has he to offer? What are his policies? This is what we should be concentrating. I believe that Pamson is an educated individual. So why should we be basing our argument on region? This is what I am saying. If someone has something, let him bring it to the table. Nigerians will diagnose. Then vote for the best. We can have as many people as possible contesting for a given elected position. But their policies, their manifestos, their ideas and ideologies is what differentiates them. In a situation where we have someone like Obi, he's very good, Nigerians can decide and vote for him. In a situation whereby we have Pamson, Nigerians can decide and vote for him. But once we start dissecting, it is just an elitist way of dividing the nation. We use religion, we use ethnicity, we use region, we use other means to divide ourselves. Now that Buhari is the president, please, Samson, I know you are from the north. You are from the north central or middle belt. Are the middle belters as northerners, or are people even from Daura, the immediate family or immediate environment of Buhari, are they better off? Are they doing fine just because Buhari is the president? I know you will never relocate yourself to Daura, where Buhari bases. You can never, due to the insecurity issues there. Yet he cannot bring an end to the insecurity due to incompetency, due to cluelessness. So why should we be basing our argument on some petty issues? So my brother, I think we have passed that level. We have superseded that level. We need to be thinking as 21st century individual. We have the Federal Character Commission of Nigeria. It is responsible for saying that every region of the country is mutually benefiting from the federation. So that is what I think, even if we need to be sentimental, that is what we need to be discussing over. Not on the issue of presidency. You made mention that Nigeria was amalgamated. Yes, of course, it was amalgamated. Look at the United States. It contains 50 different countries in one country, 50 or more than in just one country. But the presidency usually comes from a particular zone, and no one is there, to raise his voice or anger against that. Why? Because they know what they are doing. In fact, the United States is the melting point of all nations. There is hardly any tribe in the world or any ethnic group in the world that you cannot find in America. But no one talks of religion, no one talks of region, no one talks of tribe, no one talks of any differences. Why? Because they believe in the country. So Nigeria will only be one when Pamson Dagyat believes in Sani Saeed Altukry. When Sani Saeed Altukry believes in Pamson Dagyat. What is there if the Igbos are ruling the country till eternity, as far as they are transparent and accountable? In France, there are so many people that doesn't even know who their mayor is currently. Why? Because all that they need is being provided by the government. So you don't even need to know your representative. What do you need from him? There is nothing that you need from him. So why not we start thinking like these people that we are copying their system of governance? Yet we copy something and we practice another thing else. All my arguments are centered on credibility, centered on transparency. Let's be thinking in this manner. Someone who can perform. Now is Buhari performing? Now that Buhari is not performing, of what good is it to me? This is what we need to be thinking.
Okay, thank you so much, Comrade. Just before I go back to Mr. Dagyat, let me ask you this. The constitution you were talking about, the constitutional panel you were talking about, is what constitution in particular? Is that the 1999 constitution?
It was the unitary constitution, which was transferred to the federal system we currently practice, and it becomes the current one we are using under Eronsi, and Eronsi happens to be from the southeast as well. So okay. You see the linkage.
All right, I was thinking you were talking about the 1999 constitution, but let us go ahead. I can see Muhammad Ali Baba's hand up. Remember that you can join the.
Can you respond, please?
Please, you have to be you have to be as brief as possible because we have to move on.
I need to respond, please. I need to respond because
all right, go ahead.
Questions, yes. Let me start with the last one. He said, let's look at United States of America. United States of America is not practicing our own type. The states The 50 states he's saying have their independence. And that is what we are talking about restructuring. If we implement that in this country, we won't have the problem we are talking about. And we won't have the issues we are talking about. So, and that is the agitation. If we will get that restructuring, the way regions or states will have that level of independence, then we don't have an issue. But that is the crux of the matter. Why are we are talking about Middle Belt president? I'm not even aware of Middle Belt supporting Northeast. Middle Belt are equally interested in the presidency. Let me put it to you square and clear. If you are not aware, just watch and see what will happen. You are talking about that Buhari did not campaign on Boko Haram. My brother, we are all Nigerians, we were here. We knew one of the basic pillars of their campaign, and security was one of it. And they are very clear. When he gets into power, Boko Haram will not be there in 6 months. So let's not try to paint a picture that is not there. About Ben Nwabweze unitary constitution, very unfortunate. But let me ask you, who wrote the constitution of the 1999 constitution that we are operating today? Up to the period Obasanjo swore on that constitution, he did not cite a copy of that constitution. Maybe you can now help us so that we now see whether it is another Nwabweze that did that. So if we only do that, we will be clear, and then we will be on the platform and we are talking. The point I'm just trying to say, take it or leave it. We have a system, we are a complex nation with different orientations. Therefore, if the head sheet of the table, if the constitution puts so much power to the center, then it is a fact and is a needful fact that all the elements of that particular nation should have a shot on that particular seat. And that is the position I am standing on.
Thank you so much. Remember that you can join the conversation simply by raising the digital hand. We'll try to take as much comments and questions as possible. Since the beginning of this interview, Muhammad Ali Baba has been raising up his hand. Muhammad Ali Baba.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, first, it's been very interesting, conversation, and it's a topic that we need to exhaustively discuss. We'll never get tired of. But let me start by responding to Pamson about the Constitution of the United States. The United States, just like Comrade says, about 50 countries in one. They are the ones that constitute the United States. That's why it's so called. In the case of Nigeria, it is the center that creates the states. So the states are mere appendages of the federal government. Of course, we started from regional arrangement, but we have gone past that. There's hardly anyone now that will agree to subsume his own state for any region. In fact, the apostles of this so-called regional arrangement are merely southwest and the southeast, because they are ethnically homogeneous. But this issue of sentiment of rotation, either along ethnic or regional lines, they are, just like the Comrade also said, they are mere tools in the hands of elites to continue to divide and rule and keep masses, the gullible masses, at each other's throats, while they are united when it comes to exploitation of the people. I really want whoever feels Nigerians are inherently different because of their tribe to differentiate between the local government chairman in Kaura Namoda and the one in Yenagua in terms of the level of misgovernance, corruption, and whatever. They are virtually the same, irrespective of tribe or religion. But when it comes to using these same tribes and religion or region to keep people divided so that their attention will be on each other while they continue with their united, exploitation of the people, they will bring it up. It's so confounding that a lot of us are claimed to be educated, to be enlightened, would cheaply surrender to this kind of manipulations. And and that's why Nigeria will continue to have. We need, after all, I really like Pamson's definition of the essence of governance. They say is welfare and security of the people. Now, is the welfare and security of the people better managed or defined by ethnicity or religion or region? What is there's a philosopher I recall, whether it's Bertrand Russell, he said, for forms of government, let fools contend. What is best administered is the best. So what matters to the average human being, any citizen of this country, is his welfare, his security. And definitely, just like we said, just check out, we have had about 5 different or 6 sets of governors from 1999 to date. I want Mr. Pam to recall if there is any state of the Federation whose governor is not under EFCC radar, just because of his tribe or region or ethnicity. Across the entire country, we have had, like I said, we are in this 3rd set now, those that have done two terms. There is hardly any single governor that has done his tenure and is not facing EFCC charges. And why are they facing it? Because it is their own people that elected them. There is no governor that came from a different state. They all come from their own state. There is no chairman or minister that came from different states. They all came from the same state. And it is the resources of those states that is told blind that is making them face the EFCC. There is no state that has not been terribly misgoverned by the same natives of those states. So, I mean, if you have this kind of arrangement, why should anybody so cheaply surrender to silly manipulations about ethnicity or tribe or whatever? So I'm also of the opinion that what should matter to us is the competence, the track record, the credibility of the person. We have done this for 60 years now. And the simple definition of foolishness, they say, is for someone doing the same thing the same way and expecting a different result. It could never, once you are fixated with doing the same thing, you will continually get the same result. So these sentiments about religion is what has been pulling us down. And like the comrade says, would any person from Daura say his life is made better because Buhari is the president? And was the Southwest any better under Obasanjo? Or South for that matter, under Jonathan? So we need to rise above this so that we really focus on developing this nation, because ethnicity, tribalism, regionalism have remained. And it's been a well-practiced instrument of the elites. So from time immemorial, this divide and rule. And unfortunately, those of us that claim to be enlightened and educated, that are aware, are the ones that cheaply surrender to these manipulations. It's so sad. And we will never get it right so long as one will know, and then you avoid this clear reality check, and continue to surrender to cheap manipulations by those that are likely to be beneath you. Because a lot of these politicians that found themselves in governance on a pari basis, most of us are better than them. It's just a matter of opportunity. But once they throw these silly sentiments to us, we line up behind them as if we are dunces. I think we really need to rise above it. And just like Pamson was saying, politics in governance is a game of alliances. Anybody that feels because of agitation, because you blackmail others, you will be making a silly mistake. If it had been used successfully before, because some people assume Obasanjo was a product of June 12 struggle, militancy gave Jonathan, not Masop for that matter, because Masop is an Igbo agitation. And then they expected that IPOB will give Igbos. They are making the worst mistake of their lives, because we have transcended intimidation. If you have competent people that from wherever they are, let them throw their hat in the ring. And then the people of this country will decide. After all, let's come back to the north. Yaradua was from Katsina. Isn't Buhari from Katsina? Didn't we have the northeast and north central? Why didn't we insist and agitate that the next president should come to there? Because it really didn't matter, because Buhari's persona was what gave him the presidency, not where he came from. So any other person could do same. His personality, his track records, his alliances will give him the presidency. After all, he tried 3 times. I mean, twice or 3 times. Because it was when he got the alliance correctly with the Southwest that he made it. So any other person that really is genuinely interested in the presidency will form a formidable and winning alliance, and then he can try his luck. But definitely, they will need to rise above this listen. They will take us nowhere. Now, in the 21st century, we are still trying to say what is the tribe or religion or where somebody comes from. Yet the road, the deterioration has continued irrespective of where the person comes from, because the hood makes not the monk, and one can never give what he doesn't have. So we need to rise up. That's the point.
Thank you so much, Muhammad Ali Baba. I can see another hand up. Let us take Anedo. I'm guessing this is Anedo Hygienist. I'm not sure, but I can see Anedo HN.
Yes, that's me. Thank you so much. Thank you, our distinguished guest. Honestly, I don't want to envy the two guests we have today. That's Comrade Sani and Pamson. Nigeria is just a unique country. Let me say my mind. Democracy in Nigeria is a draft game. You know, when people talk about constitution, I'm not a lawyer. By the grace of God, I'm a medical doctor. But constitution in Nigeria, right from the independent constitution, you know, between 1957 and 58, I think, that gave us independence. Then the one of 1963 actually made Nigeria a Republican state. And in that Republican state, you find a federating unit. And that was the best constitution Nigeria ever had. For me, right? Example, it says that in those federated units, every unit of that federation has some kind of autonomy. And Nigeria really progressed within that period. From that point, every other constitution is just like, is a game. It's really a game. I think I want to talk to Sani now, right? By the grace of God, I'm also a product of the North. I'm an Igbo man, but 2/3 of my half-life now is in the North. I was a student in University of Jos. I lived in Zaria. I worked there. I was in Mina. I left Mina just 2 years ago, back to East. So I know North very well. But one thing I want to say here, for anybody that wants to know, Nigeria is a very unique country, but the constitution we're operating now, which is 1999, remember, Nick Itobi, I think he's the justice, was the one that led the draft of that constitution. And just as Pamson said, it was under Abu Salam Abubakar regime. I don't think Obasanjo saw that constitution, but he started using it. And that constitution, in fact, nailed what I could call, when you come to a rotational presidency, which what we are discussing today, has its merits and demerits. And where there are no strong democratic institutions, when you say go and shop for any credible candidate that is honest, that is a technocrat, that has all the wisdom, it doesn't work. Why will it not work? Because there is already a baseline of what we call relative deprivation. The relative deprivation means that there are some when the constitution is being made, whoever that is there are already a kind of no-go area, right? That we deprive some other federating unit of this country to really get what others want to get. Because when you want to even negotiate, you negotiate from the point of strength. Now, for example, if you come to Southeast, we are just 5 states. I don't think there is any other geopolitical zone in this country that has 5 states. Why is that? Is it in terms of population or spread or landmass? Who created those 5 states? They were done by the military regime. And those military regimes don't know anything about democracy. So the East has already been deprived to negotiate with any part of this country to share power with them. That's number one. There is also the theory of democratic integration. After the war, I was told and I read there are 3 R's. Comrade Sani, if you have been to the Southeast, even the Igbos or the Southeasterner that you see in the North, can you vividly tell me that their legs are very strong as per they can go to government and get anything if they don't either bribe their way into it? They see themselves in this country, even outside Igbo land, that they don't even belong to the country. And that means that they were not fully integrated into Nigerian states as citizens of the country. So with these 2 things, it will be very difficult, I tell you, even if the best person comes from Igbo land now, And there is no, what I mean, a kind of consensus agreement by other regions to say, let's give these people fairness. Because you've talked about middle belt here, yeah, almost the same thing. But before, they were just called north. And from there now, the south have, and the southwest is there. Remember also that it is not even, maybe because it's because of 1993. There is a conference in 1994 that the Southwest pulled out from Preneco. They don't want to come as a region. And because of that, that 1994, right, conference stalled. It didn't hold. And it was from there now, they now know in 1999 that maybe Southwest, the whole Southwest region, pulled out from a conference that was called in Nigeria. For me, it is even a secession. It's a secession movement because they refused to come where every other Nigerian were invited. They didn't come and they succeeded and they got the presidency. So that's why I say I don't envy two of you. But if there is anything that will work in Nigeria, we should go back to that 1963 constitution. Because even if I'm the best person to rule this country now, and I'm from Southeast, what will I go to negotiate with? 5 states, and you know that we are talking about political parties now. If I'm from party A, there are other Southeasterners that are from party B. Already we are divided. We divide into 2.5. Others may divide and fragment into 3. I'm still deprived. So that is my own submission this night. If there is any way the elites should be talked to allow an Igbo man to come and rule this country for balancing. If he goes there and gets another state for the Southeast, I don't think it's a bad thing. It is not too much. Let's be 6, because we merit to have 6 states. Forget about other, what we call democratic institutions, because it is all over the country. We don't have seaports. We don't have anything. Also in the North, there are certain things they're supposed to have, they don't have, because our system is very bad, and we are being ruled by what I call selfish leaders. So that is common. But let's give another region, a region like Southeast, supposed to go for the presidency under rotation, because for me, that is what is convenience in this country now. As far as I'm concerned, Nigeria is practicing convenience, democracy of convenience, not true democracy, until we get it right. And getting it right means give everybody equal opportunity. If there are 6 states in other regions, give Southeast 6 states. Then if they can negotiate, if they go in this area, that's their business. Because if Southwest now come to negotiate with any part of the North, believe you me, 50% that won that election, they can now go for what we call political gambling and get some other states to join them. The person will now win. But we're just 5. Out of that 5, if a -2 is 3. So that is my submission. So whoever that has the listening ear of our northern elders, because as far as I'm concerned, the North determines who rules the country.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, let us hear from, we would allow the guests to respond to all this, but our time is fast spent. So let us go to Hakeem. I'm guessing this is Otuba. Hakeem, your hand is up. I've asked you to unmute. Okay, I see you're unmuted.
Sorry, this is Mazi Okoye.
Sorry, this is Mazi Okoye.
Sorry about that. I think it's quite difficult to argue for zoning or rotation, as Pamson was, trying to do. This is not to say that Pamson hasn't got a point. I'm one of the proponents of marriage. Things being done by marriage. But Nigeria, as it is, nothing happens on marriage. And this is where Pamson's points comes, hits home. Because I do not believe that Buhari was elected on marriage. There's someone that mentioned the governors in the Southeast, or the governors in Nigeria, I do not believe any of them were elected on merit. So this is where Pamson has a point that since the Constitution made it in such a way that whoever occupies that seat of power, the presidency, can then, in a way, becomes a semi-dictator, in a way. Just look at Buhari's body language. He doesn't speak to the people. He doesn't care. None of the governors care. So it becomes a remedial thing for people to start asking, okay, we want some of this. We want one of our own to occupy this position. Not that people are, don't like merit. I know Pamson very well. I know he likes merit too. But his argument, he was arguing because of the system entrenched in Nigeria. I can argue for merit too. And Pamson can argue for merit from now until tomorrow morning. However, the system in Nigeria wouldn't allow him to argue for merit. And it wouldn't allow me to do so. That is why this zoning or this rotation of the presidency comes in. Because they can't just be lording it over people, endlessly, thinking that, okay, like Sani said, that democracy is a game of pure number. I beg to differ on that. Democracy is not only about pure number. Democracy has its philosophical and ethical demonstrations of it. You can't just say, okay, because you can't just take people as mere number, because we're talking about people here. We're not just arguing about, stone cold numbers. This is why things are happening the way it's happening, because people are seeing people as numbers. People as numbers. The whole of the middle belt are seen as just mere numbers that people can just manipulate and lord it over them whenever the election cycle comes through. This is not how democracy works. He mentioned of the United States and the rest of it, but things are done properly there. They try to improve. That's why they elected a black man as the president. They are trying to improve, but in our own case, they're not trying to improve. This is why people are arguing for that rotation, for that zoning, because people are not even pretending to try to improve. So even if you argue from now to tomorrow morning that, okay, let's do things of merit, how is that going to work? Knowing the system that we got, how is that going to work? It's not simply not going to work. So I stand with Pamson on this, that zoning is merited because of the system that we have. If we have a better system where people are trying to improve themselves or improve the governance, then yes, that argument of merit will have more power. But in this case, you can argue it from now till tomorrow. We know the system that we got, and it's simply not working. So other people deserve the chance to be able to express themselves, be able to, occupy that seat of power and make sure that, even if they don't, perform like Buhari is not performing, that is beside the point. Because you never know who is going to perform or who is not going to perform until they occupy that seat. That's when you know that they're going to perform. So I stand with that zoning, that people need a chance, need a shot. People need to be treated fairly, because in Nigeria there is no fairness. There is no fairness, and until you have fairness, you cannot argue for merit. Until you have justice, you cannot argue for merit. If you don't have it, the argument for merit falls on its face.
Thank you so much, Mazi Okoye. Let us allow our guests to respond. Comrade. Comrade, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Uh, just a minute, please. Dan rage ƙaran. Dan cire daga can kashe. Hello? I'm
Yes, we
sorry,
can
please.
hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. I think it is Anedu. He made a point that the previous the current constitution we're using was drafted by Nikki Toby. Agreed. But from where does Nikki Toby comes from? He comes from Delta State. And I believe that it was not on the point of a gun that he drafted the constitution. So he must have known what he is doing. Assuming the constitution was drafted in a way to favor the northern part of the Nigeria. If I may ask, in what way is the north better than the south? No one can say. In fact, we are even worse off. So in essence, we need to remove this system of thinking from our faculties. He made mention that the Igbos are not stable even here in the northern part of the country. Yes, if I may agree on that, but if they are not stable, why are they insisting on staying in the northern part of the country? Whereas they are not forced to do so. The Igbos are the most industrious people we have in Nigeria. And there is no village in the north that you cannot find an Igbo man. It is because they are enjoying living in the north. That is the only reason why they stay. If they are enjoying in their own state, I believe they should have stayed there. He raised a salient point that he wants the presidential ticket to be zoned to the southeast. Good, I'm fine. But can he tell us that, if I may ask once again here, has their governors raised the standard of living of Igbos in the southeast that you can compare the entire southeast with Dubai or the US? So this set of leaders are birds of same feathers. They are not different. They only unite to expose the masses into hardship, but they are all the same. Now, the last speaker made mention that the system is not working. Hence, every zone should be given an opportunity to lead. Let's think critically on this. If the system is really not working and you want the presidential ticket to be zoned to the northeast, what will the northerners think? They may think that they are going to still suffer under the leadership of the South since the system is not working. Therefore, they will not agree to that agreement. The best option for us is to believe in ourselves. Is for him, Hakim, Augusta, Anedo, Pamson Dagyat, to believe that we are going to revive the country. We are going to change the system. We should leave that set of thinking behind. Let's think of a new Nigeria, a new generation. There is nothing that cannot be changed, no matter how bad it is. Our leaders, current leaders, are bad. That doesn't mean that we are bad. Let's test ourselves. Let's give ourselves a trial. Moreover, you cannot generalize the action, of 50% on the other 50%. You are not doing justice to that. Just because this set of leaders has failed us, that's why I said if we truly means rotational leadership or zoning, then why not we zone it to the youth, to the people like me and others? Let's give the youth a trial. Let's give them a voice. This set of leaders has failed us. They are all thinking on their bed. Most of them doesn't even know how to operate an Android phone. Definitely, they must fail us. So let's change the system. Let's change the system of thinking from leaders leading us at old age to the youth. Or let's give the women a voice, because women all over the world are doing good. They are very accountable and transparent. Why not we start thinking in their direction? Let's give them a chance. Let's find a credible leader from other part of the countries, not necessarily not either a youth or a lady. Let's give her a chance to lead us. This is what we should be thinking. Now, on a final note, Anedu made mention that the South is having 5 states. And yet, those 5 states want to be given an opportunity to lead 31 states. If we are talking on politics, that is not possible because it is a game of number. What they should do is to go and form an alliance, a favorable alliance that will favor them so that they can bring a president on board. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Let us hear from Mr. Dagyat.
Well, I'm just amused with my co-guest. He is saying, let's give people a chance, let's give the women a chance, let's give the youth a chance. But when we now say, let's give the Southeast a chance, he's speaking in discontinent tunes. The point here is very clear. I know that there is a team of misinformation elites of the North trying to sell this dummy of, no, it's not a northern team, it's a passing team. Because it's a person team, another northerner will come and do a different thing, but they don't believe that another Southeast person can come and do a different thing. You can't probate and reprobate. The point is, if other people came in and gave advantage to their own persons, no one will tell me that the Yorubas did not get advantage during Obasanjo's time, nor the Ibibios, the South did not get advantage during the Goodluck's time, nor the Hausas, and more importantly, the Fulani are not taking advantage of this country because Buhari is on the seat. This is where we found ourselves because of this type of things. Then you now have the Igbos who are all over the country, and we are saying give one of them the leadership. Because they are all over the country, they will come up with solutions for this country that wherever their kinsmen are, they will be comfortable. And you are saying no. And you are saying, okay, even the ones that are ruling, where have they been able to put up their, what is the status of their ruling? Does that make sense? What is the status of the northern governors? Have they delivered? And you are still saying we should give them more. You are still looking at, okay, we should give the opportunity again, let's make it open. Fine. If we're making it open, why was it that when the South were ruling, the North will come all out and say, no, it's their turn. Now, the North, the same North is saying that they have been shortchanged 4 years. Therefore, they need another 1 term in order to do the 4 years. Who is telling the other, who is fooling who? The truth of the matter is, in this country, it's a dysfunctional country. When you are using America as a reason, I keep saying it, and I wanted somebody to say I am wrong. The states in America are independent. If today we make our states independent, they have their own laws, they manage their resources and whatever. Tell me who is going to will be interested, whoever becomes president. That is why in America, an African, a Kenyan become a president. And that is why whoever is ruling there is not the key issue, because the states there have, the laws are done in such a way that they have self-determination, they define how they want to live within, and that is what we are saying. We need restructuring, but in the light of the constitution we are having and we are operating, and since we're not going at war on each other, definitely let every segment of this nation give this presidency a beat. What is wrong with that? Why is it difficult If all the segments, all the zones have ruled except one, why is it difficult to say that that one should not be given? So what are we hiding? Is there something we are hiding? Then we should bring it out to the fore and let's debate it. So I still stand my position that the way this country is structured, restructuring is the way forward. And then we need leaders who have the guts to get that to happen. We need people who will understand that we need good governance that will be overriding. That is correct. I don't have any argument on that. But I am still believing that other zones should be allowed to play their own role. And Southeast, I think, by all indication, they should be given a chance to rule this country as well.
Thank you so much. Let us listen to Mr. Nomba. I think I'm seeing his hand up.
Yes, let me ask this question, although Pamson has touched on it. If in 1999, the chant is, let us go southwest. If in 2015, the chant on everyone's lip is, let us go north, the power must return to the north. Is that not zoning? So what is wrong also in saying that in 2023, let us go somewhere else, like Southeast? Instead of this argument you're making, it's a game of numbers, it's a merit. Why didn't we agree it's a set of numbers in 1999? Why didn't we agree it's a set of numbers in 2015? So why is it that in 2023 now, when some people are saying, no, let this come to us, then there's this argument about politics is a game of numbers, let us go merit. I want to hear Comrade Sani address this issue, please.
Okay, fine. You see, even now, it is because the agitation arises from a particular region. That's why we said, if you have the number, you can gamble and wrestle for it. I am not saying that politics, is a game of number just due to the northern advantage. But why are the southerners always agitating for the presidency? It means they have something in mind, not the country at heart, but they have something. And we've seen that in the past. We've seen the Biafra agitations.
Let us be clear. I'm sorry, Sani. You said that if this, do you mean Southerners or Southeast are not agitating, that there must be something behind it? I want us to be clear.
Of course.
Okay, when in 1990, when in 2015, the chant is power must return to the north, what was behind it then?
No one there says that the power must return to north. It was
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Let's go back to history. When Obasanjo contested, was there a saying that power must go to the southwest? That's not true. It was just a game of interest.
I wouldn't want to be interrupting you, sir, but I just want to be clear. Forgive me. In 2015, when people said Yar'Adua was there, he didn't do his complete term, he only did even less than 4 years, that power must return to the north. What was that argument about? Didn't you hear it? Or do you think it was insanity or it was wrong or that people didn't say that?
Please, there was a network breakage. I didn't get the full statement, please. Can you come again?
In 2015, even in 2011, when people were saying that when the South have done their 8th term and then power came to the North, Yar'Adua did only even less than 4, and therefore power must return to the North in 2011, then again in 2015. What was behind that argument then? Were you saying that you didn't hear it? Or are you saying that it was a wrong agitation or that I'm fabricating it?
You are not fabricating it, but people are entitled to their own opinion. Likewise, I am entitled to mine. Even at that time, there are some people that are here in the North and agitating for the presidency to go to the South at that time. Yes, because they are doing it based on what they will gain personally or based on their interest. So you can never stop people from expressing their opinion or interest, but you cannot generalize the interest of a group of or a region on the entire nation at large. Moreover,
So,
when the country, when the northerners, let's assume that even unanimously the northerners were agitating for a northern presidency, why can't the south and the east merge themselves and fight the north? To you know, so it is just politics. Once it is politics, it is purely political.
may I ask you
And
something, my colleague?
myself, I am not saying that the presidency shouldn't go to the east, if you get me clearly from the onset. What I am saying is, when we keep repeating that the south, the east, the west, we keep dividing ourselves, and we are putting the unity of Nigeria at stake.
Saeed, may I ask you a question?
Okay, you can ask.
Just
Please.
a brief question. Just a brief
Okay.
question, so that it can
Yes,
help
sir.
me rationalize too.
Yes, sir.
When Hamid Baba Ahmed is speaking on behalf of the northern elders, and then he's saying that power will not leave the north, what was it all about? Is there a
Fine.
hidden agenda?
Fine. You see, Hakim Baba Ahmed is from my state and even my local government. This is to tell you that I know him very well. And he is part of the Northern Elders Council, Northern Elders Forum. And even in the north, we have the Northern Elders Consultative Forum headed by Tankwaya Kasi. So there are other groups. So what I am saying in essence, Dr. Hakim may be expressing his opinion, but not necessarily that he is expressing the opinion of the entire Northerners. Who is Hakim even in the north? It is just an organization. In fact, I am part of that organization. I am part of the organization. But you should know that just as yourself is heading a particular organization doesn't mean that you are speaking on behalf of on all the middle belters.
All right,
You are not
thank
speaking
you.
on their behalf.
I think we have had the arguments for and against this issue. So let's call on the two gentlemen raising up the hand, and then we'll come back to the guests to round up. Rang Pang Jr. and Mohammed Ali Baba. Rang, please, you first, go. Unmute yourself.
Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible enough. Can you all hear me? Hello?
Yes, go ahead, but your voice is low, but you can go ahead.
Okay. Let me try and raise my voice then now. Just to thank our guest for doing justice to the discussion. I wouldn't call it an argument, it's a discussion. And
Please, can you be audible enough? I can't get you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
It's a little bit
Can you
okay.
hear me now?
Yes,
Okay.
it's a little bit okay.
So thank you very much. I would probably like to refer you to Professor Ango Abdullahi, who was the past spokesman for the Northern Elders Forum before Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed. Right from 2011, he said power should come to the north. And just before the eve of the presidential elections, when our current president was heading for power, it was the same argument. And there was this popular phrase which was on social media and in the international media that if it doesn't come to the north, there will be Jimmy, the dog and the baboon will be in blood. The power should come to the north. To quote Professor Ango Abdullahi, not, let's say, in full context, he said the power had been in the south, and it was in the interest of equity and justice and fairness that it should come to the north. Equity, justice, and fairness, that power should come to the north. That is in support of our current president, presidential campaign. Nigeria is a fragile state. The country was brought together not by agreement of the people. Like it has been mentioned time and time again, it was an amalgamation. In the process of that amalgamation, most of the indigenous communities were broken. In the southwest, there are still hundreds of thousands of Yorubas in Benin Republic stretching to Ghana. They have been fragmented. The Hausa population stretches from the north, the core north, right into Niger Republic. If you go to the southwest, you also find the Margi people spread from Lake Chad, Nigeria, and Cameroon, and down to the Ibibios and the Bakassi. So Nigeria has been fragmented, and we have people who have relatives in other parts. And so it's just a combination of people. And once we have such a combination of people, leadership, governance should be by agreement. The only agreement that is feasible is inclusiveness. When a particular segment is not included, there is the general natural human instinct to realign with their own people and be self sustaining. This has been the issue of Nigeria. Remember that our independence was deferred from the original date because the North was not prepared for it. And the Southeast and South West agreed. That is inclusiveness. And there was progress from that angle. You see, the zonal rotational presidency gives also is a tool for accountability. From where I come from, there's a proverb which says, "Wanda vugukid bayede kasa wet." By interpretation, we have a lot of yams. So when you harvest and somebody who shares the yam is not the first person to pick a portion, this means that if you do not share it well, somebody else will also share it and you will be at a disadvantage. So having rotational presidency means that if you do not treat everybody equally, somebody's turn will also come. It gives room and it provides accountability, it provides a probe for accountability so that when you are in as a head, you are a head of all of Nigeria, not a segment, because somebody else will come. I've always had this argument that it is an elitist thing, it is the elite against every part of Nigeria has capable hands to become a president for the presidency. And so is the Southeast. We have three major tribes, three major groups in Nigeria. It is internationally known: the North, the Southeast, Southwest. Southeast, Southwest have had presidency. The North has had presidency. The only one yet to is the Southeast. So going back to Professor Ango Abdullahi's postulation, it is time for equity, justice, and fairness to be done, not necessarily a game of numbers. We have qualified hands there. If it is an elitist thing, let's find a non-elitist person from there. There are numerous of them. We have seen them from the national to international and local levels. Now, let me round up by saying that whenever we say we want persons of credibility, from the history of our democracy, is there one person that was voted in that lacked credibility at the point of his voting, or at the point of his campaign? Clearly, they had something to offer. But have we improved? If that theory is not really working, we cannot see it on the face of anyone. Let's have somebody from the Southeast to give it a try and let every part of Nigeria feel carried along. That is my postulation. But just in case there is someone that you think is having all the correct qualities, just like a new person, I would really love to know who that person is. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Ali Baba,
Yeah.
your turn. You are muted.
Hello. Am I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh-huh. I think we'll continue to move in circles. No, whether deliberately or not, or maybe realistically, people seem to be obfuscating the real issues. The fact remains that nobody is saying another person from anywhere cannot contest. It's a free entry, free exit. Whoever feels he can measure up, I mean, he stands a chance of winning, is free to contest. But you won't say because you want it to go to a particular micro zoning, because that's what it is. The rotational clause provides for north to south and south to north. There is nowhere in that rotational clause, whether written or unwritten, where microzoning to sub-regions, geopolitical zones is stated. And that is why when it came to the turn of the north after Jonathan, and that also we need to clarify, even when it came to the north, it's not as if other parts of the country considered and voted for the northern candidate. He simply had more votes than that of the south, and that is how he won. After all, Jonathan won in 2011 because he had more votes than the northern candidate. So this impression and misrepresentation as if the entire country considered, I think it's disinformation. So whoever feels he can have it from south, rotation is north versus south. So in the south, any candidates can spring up. The winner amongst them can take this shot, and then he contests with any other person from anywhere. And whoever gets the most votes, he simply wins. That is the point. But the tendency to restrict others, to maybe exclude others, and exclusively reserve the position for the Southeast. That's what some of us are vehemently against. But any candidate from the Southeast that is able to beat others, I mean, he's freely welcome, because this is a national election. It's not a regional election that it will be exclusively meant for another. And personally, like I said, even in 2015 that Buhari eventually won, I'm one of those that didn't have Buhari as my preferred candidate. In the wake of the APC merger, my preferred candidate was Fashola, followed by Amechi before Buhari. But Buhari, because of his clout, his 12 million votes he has been carrying along, that is why he had upper hand over others. But in terms of competence or track record, there were others better than him. But politics is simply a game of winning. Everybody goes in to win. So you present your best candidate that stands a better chance. So if any of the parties feel somebody from the Southeast stands a good chance of winning the election when they field him, of course, by all means, they will field him. But even the PDP, which is the dominant party in the Southeast, is not inclined towards that, because for now, they have not found a candidate with the kind of, persona that might, outflank others when fielded. So they are just being realistic. No political party goes into any election simply for participating. They want to win. And so they will want to have the best strategy and the best candidate that stands a good chance of winning the election for them, especially the PDP. In fact, it's PDP that is still dilly-dallying about where their candidates will come from. For the APC, it's going southwards, because the North has had a turn, so they stand a better chance. But in the South, it has to be the candidate with the best chance of winning the election for them, not based on any restriction because of the so-called equity or whatever. Equity should be defined politically, democratically. The definition of equity will be the person that the majority of the people prefer and elect. That is what is equitable. So that is my point. So all these sentiments about restricting it, the fact remains that the best candidate, wherever he comes, so long as the majority of Nigerians vote for him, is the person that will rule this country. So others will not be excluded simply because of some sentiments about, besides, it's like, that is where the essence of saying is a game of numbers come from. So whoever can pull the most numbers across the nation is the person that the parties will feel, irrespective of other person's sentiments. That's how I see this matter.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lebebe, for your brilliant submissions. So finally, let's go back to Pamson and Saeed for their final conclusions. Pamson first.
Well, Ali Baba, finally I've succumbed because I've been having this argument with him almost on every time he's on this platform. But today he has succumbed because that's the position I've been talking about. Yes, it's an issue of an alliance. And we are saying that in the course of this alliance, we will not want this country to break because of premonitions or unnecessary feeling of not carried along. We have an opportunity to carry everyone along in this country to have a united nation, a united country, a prosperous country. So if the issue of Southeast not having a shot on this presidency, which is a fact, is there glaring us in the eye, it is necessary and it is right and appropriate to allow that to be part of the dynamics of the discourse. And then should be part of the skewedness of the dynamics of the political alignment. And that is why we are saying that we are proposing and projecting that the political parties should look towards the Southeast, because that will create that position that, yes, they are equally seen as Nigerians. During the course of this discourse, the allusion is that they may be having something to hide because they are agitating for a Biafra. And that is why I said that other regions that had the opportunity, there were crises in those regions, but it does not stop us from thinking within the box and say, no, because of these agitations, because we want to balance the fry knives, let these regions have this presidency. It happened with the Southwest because of the death of Abiola and the Nadeko, whatever. It was a reasonable thought. And that is why in the course of the alignment, it's not like he got it on the platter of gold, but there was an alignment. And then there was the voting blocks that came together to give him that alignment. So we are saying that regardless of what IPOP is doing, this should not stop us from thinking on that particular part. More so, it's even a more good reason to look at that as part of the variables in deciding who should be president. And we are saying that, yes, we know that the APC have already looking through the West or the South-South. But we are asking the PDP to equally go South and look within the Southeast and its related environs so that we can have a balance. And at the end of the day, we have a country that we can call our own, where everybody feel belongs.
Thank you. Saeed, please.
Okay. Thank you very much once again. I just want to make some clarification. Pam Jr. made a certain statement that Prof. Ango Abdullahi once said there will be Karejini Brijini if power is not rotated to the north. I think Karejini Brijini is just like both the dog and the baboon will be soaked in blood. I think that's the statement if the north is not given power. So that's just a political statement. Now compare that statement to the statement, a lot of statement made by Nnamdi Kanu. What will you see? If you go to Prof. Ango Abdullahi's house, you will not even find a common policeman guarding the house. It's just a normal person like you and I. But compared to Nnamdi Kanu, you find a lot of security men there with guns. In fact, he established the Eastern Security Network. We have seen them all over with AK-47. operating a parallel government within a government. That is a threat to the sovereignty of Nigeria as a country. So we need to look beyond the ordinary things we see here. So moreover, Pamson was always agitating for a president from the southeast. I don't know why he's not agitating for a president from the north central, where he comes from, because they never had one before. And even the northeast, because even the north is divided into three: the northeast, the north central, and the northwest. And all this while, it's only the north central, northwest that has been producing a president. So if we need to be very, very fair, then why not we should also be looking at that dimension? That's if everyone is being fair to zoning, although I do not subscribe to the issue of zoning, but if that is what Samson is saying, then why not we look beyond the southeast? We also have the north central, we have the southeast and the northeast. Then we should be thinking in that direction, because if you go to the northeast, their culture, their tradition are quite different from what you find in the northwest. So also the north central. So they are not the same thing, just because they are merely called the north, but they are different entities entirely. And each one can stand as a country on its own. Now, finally, I will still stick to my words. We should be thinking in an advanced level. If we believe there is someone from the south with a very good and sound blueprint, we can all campaign and vote for that person, irrespective of his region or religion. It can even be a person without religion, an atheist. We will vote for him. But it should be based on meritocracy, not mediocrity. That's sentimental. We should always look beyond region. All the countries that developed didn't start the way they didn't go through the process we are following. We've been repeating this mistake since 1960, and it is yielding same result. Why not we change the system?
All right,
We should
thank
believe
you.
ourselves that we can do better. Thank you very much, Newsman, for giving us this opportunity.
I thank you. We'll
Thank you
conclude
very
the
much
line.
to the audience.
I thank you very much, Pamson Dagyat, member of Southern and Middle Belt Alliance, and Comrade Sani Saeed Altukry. Do I call you a social crusader?
Thank you very much.
I think Iyad Hatu Waziri was raising his hand. Let's hear him before we finally conclude this segment, please. You are already unmuted. Iyad Hatu Waziri.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Go ahead.
Hello, good evening, my distinguished colleagues. Good evening, all.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, I just joined the meeting a few minutes ago. I was just coming in, hearing Comrade Sani Saeed Altukry contributing his own quota. But based on what I have met at this juncture, I would like to chip in my own contribution. We are all Nigerians, and we are all working towards achieving one goal. But I would like to sincerely appeal to both of us that whosoever we can have the capacity to contest for the office of the president in the forthcoming election, which is 2023, as long as he has all the qualities that can lead this country towards a success, I think we have to go for him, and we have to support him, despite the religion, tribe he comes from. So I think this is the little I can contribute for now. If there is any need of me coming back, I will do so. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you. very much, or it's been